Guess what? Can you believe it? I wrote a travel book for you. Yeah, you millennial woman. We're celebrating you today. If you are someone who is over 35, wondering what you want to do with your life next, trying to pivot or have a change in your new chapter, and you feel really distracted and you're not sure what's going on, and there's just like a lot of noise in your life, and if you feel you've outgrown your life, then I wrote the travel book for you. It's called The Map Back to You, and it's a guide to self-discovery through solo travel. I am a solo travel like aficionado. Like, I love it. Solo travel is like the best thing to have ever been given to me. One of the best things. I think it's a gift that every woman should receive, and so I wrote a book to talk about the power of solo travel and how it empowers you and builds confidence and helps to give you like room to figure out what you want to do with your life. So I just wanted to talk about the book a little bit more so that you can have an idea. Why did I write this book? So like I said, there is so much power in solo travel, and I think like we underestimate how much like rejuvenation and recharge and reset we can get when we're alone on our own, but in a place and an environment that is conducive and catered to you is so powerful. And for me, I think solo travel is a really good way to do this, to achieve this. And so this is why I wrote that book. So it's called The Map Back to You. It's travel memoir meets travel guide. And so I talk about like my travel moments, my solo travel moments that reshaped me, where things that I learned while I was on solo travel. Sometimes I had like breakdowns, fun moments, the highs and the lows of solo travel. I share that with you in the book. Then I combine it with a travel guide. If you're wondering, the travel guide, it's not one of those, you know, how to take a solo trip. We're in an age that information is so accessible that I felt it was a bit redundant to write a travel guide on how to take a solo trip, right? And so I wanted to write about those necessary stories, those more relevant stories. I wanted to go deeper with the book. And so I combined it and I mixed it with my real life experiences as a form of memoir, while giving you some key tips and work and toolkits that you can use at the end of each chapter to really help cement the lessons from each of the chapter. And so the book is organized, like I said, it's a hybrid between the memoir and the guide. And at the end of each chapter, you will get a toolkit. And I call them the Wander Toolkits because teacher in Wonderland. And they're in 3 parts. So it talks about, you know, first there is like the lesson to be learned, or the key takeaway. Listen, because we're all going to like get different stories and different lessons out of each of the chapters. But I include one of the main key takeaways of each chapter, and then we go through a sort of like prompt for you, a journal prompt to help you to reflect on where these lessons might show up in your everyday life or on your next solo trip. And then afterwards, there's an action part that is really intentional about implementing takeaways and lessons and key messages from the chapter in your everyday life, on your next solo trip, etc. And so the toolkit is broken down in these 3 parts, which I think is so essential. Like, I wish I had this toolkit when I was buying my own travel books from my favorite authors. I wish I had a toolkit like this to really help me to navigate what I want out of the trip, what I want out of why am I going on a solo trip, and also to understand like what lessons and how those lessons are relevant and resonate with me. So yeah, this is part of the book. What else can I talk about? So of course there are travel stories and travel moments in the book. If you have questions about what kind of stories are there, then drop a comment and I will respond in the comments. Either I reply or I will do a video about any interesting questions that show up. But some of the travel moments that are in the book are, like I said, there are some highs, there are some surprises, there's some spicy moments, and of course there are a bit of regrets and bittersweet, vulnerable chapters as well. So if you're curious, let me know. Oh my god, the chapter titles are just like, I love them. I feel so proud about the chapter titles of the book and the story that they tell. And so I put it I will share just up now the chapters that you can see. Tell me which of the chapter jumps out at you the most. Like, which one caught your eyes? Like, I wonder what's going on in this chapter. Tell me, and again, I will reply in the comments, or I will do a video about it, and maybe we'll do a readout here. Where can you get my book? You can get my book in my store on my page. It is also in the description of this video. It is in the links in the profile of this channel. If I were to choose a chapter that is my favorite, I don't know, there's so many. I think one of the key chapters in the book is called Flow and Stillness, and it's chapter 8. And it goes through, it kind of like encapsulates the vibe of the book, and how, you know, being resonant with yourself, or resonance with yourself, I don't even know if that's a word, but it captures how listening and following your intuition and really tapping into your thoughts and your desires, how powerful that can be, and also the kind of like adventures and success and kind of like serendipitous moments that you can experience through showing up and listening to yourself. So that's one of the chapters. And then there's another chapter, it's called The Safety Net, which is for me it's like the most practical chapter. So it really guides you through a lot of like tips and also like advice about solo travel and different like things that you should look out for. And then the toolkit like really cements it at the end of the chapter. Again, it's safety net, so it talks about safety, but it looks at safety from different lenses and not just how to be safe on a solo travel, which is important, but it also looks at different angles in terms of what does safety really mean, and it doesn't look at only physical safety, but emotional safety is a part of it as well. Chapter 12. I don't know if it's my favorite chapter, but it's definitely a memorable chapter, and it was the hardest chapter to write. And it's called Disparity of the Diaspora, and in it I talk about passport inequality and passport privilege. As a Jamaican traveling, I have gone through a lot of visa processes just to be able to spend a weekend somewhere or a week, etc. And just having traveled for like over 20 years, it's something that deeply impacts me and my life, and I wanted to talk about it because so many of my acquaintances or friends from Europe and other places around the world just kind of like overlook the benefits of having a quote-unquote strong passport. And it's visas are things that are like out of my control, right? It's not something like I just happen to have a Jamaican passport, but these are certain like limitations or constraints that are placed upon me with travel. And I think it's something that we don't talk about enough in the travel space, and I wanted to make sure that I mention it in the book. Like, I couldn't write a travel book without talking about this aspect of the travel experience. And so chapter 12, Disparity of the Diaspora, kind of looks at my experience with passport inequality and like how to navigate it. So yeah, it's yeah, I don't know if it's a favorite chapter, but it really is a chapter that's close to me. And yeah, so it's a short one today, but I just wanted to share that this book is out and it's here for you, The Map Back to You, a guide to self-discovery through solo travel. It is part memoir, part guide, and it's part memoir because I share all of my real moments, the travel moments and experiences that shaped me, my insecurities like navigating unfamiliar cities, and things like this, and just like different stories that I've experienced over time, over 20 years of traveling. And then it's part guide because it gives you a toolkit at the end of each chapter for you to discover and build and go on your own journey with the book as well. So yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I will reply. And you can get the book on my store, and the link is in the description, and you can also find it on the profile of this channel.